So I've got two of Level 8's aluminium carry-on in front of me. I've got the Gibraltar on my left and the Captain on my right. At first glance, both of them look quite similar, but we're going to dive into some of the obvious and not so obvious features that separates the two. They're also operating in very different budgets, but if you're looking at an aluminium carry-on and you want to understand exactly what you get for your money, then yeah, we're going to dive in. Now, if you want to see more of my deeper thoughts on the Gibraltar and the Captain, I've got my dedicated reviews on them, so check them out on my channel and you can read more at onetechtraveler.com. Christmas is fast approaching, and if you've still got an outstanding list of names to gift, then take advantage of their express delivery. They've got a cutoff date. If you order now, you can still get it in time for Christmas, and you can also snag a great sale on the Gibraltar, Captain, or the rest of their luggage. Support the channel at the same time if you buy through the links down in the video description and comments, and also thumbs up if you found this video useful. Now, there are a lot of people who swear by aluminium carry-on, and while I generally adapt very well to different luggage types, aluminium definitely has its appeal. It's giving you a lot more of a premium aesthetic and allure compared to even a nicer polycarbonate hard shell and the utility of a soft case. At first glance, they share a similar design language on the front body, but delving closer into it, this one has more of a gradual and blend from sort of the border towards the lip of the edges, whereas on the Gibraltar, you've got more of a riveted design and you've actually got indented borderline. They do share the same center Level 8 logo, and it gives you a nice reflective mirror finish that actually contrasts and gives the Captain and Gibraltar a very uplifted and premium look. Things start to get very different when you look at the TSA lock system. For one, on the Gibraltar, which again is the premium but more affordable version compared to the Captain, these ones have actually hardened plastic double locks, whereas on the Captain it is full aluminium. So if you want all-round consistent sturdiness, then the Captain is going to be your best bet. They both have dual TSA locks. On the Captain, you've actually got a centralized system that you can see here, and you have two prongs. Once you press them together, it's actually going to unclip both of these, whereas on the Gibraltar, you've got those locks on the individual clamps, and it does mean you have to enter either the same or different codes twice to be able to access. Some might find that an inconvenience, whereas some might actually appreciate it being more of a secure factor, since you cannot open it unless you have both of these clamps unlocked. You're gonna find it either a pro or a con. Considering both of these are zipless, it's going to be mind-blowingly faster than a zippered traditional luggage. You are going to get much more blockier and thicker grab handles. What I like about the Gibraltar, it is soft closing, so even if you carry it and when it's reverting back to its position, you can see it's soft closing, so you're not going to get some very loud noise as you are handling, which is a great thing. Whereas on the Captain, being a lot more minimal and streamlined, you can see that carries over to the grab handle. It's very flush and gives you just enough clearance, but you can easily pull away from the body. When it's not in use, it's again fairly compact and streamlined down. The Gibraltar is going to really max out the carry-on restrictions, whereas the Captain is actually slightly more compact, not just in its look. Its dimensions are just a little bit shorter, thinner, and not as wide as the Gibraltar, so everything just feels a lot more streamlined. You can tell by the body. That's not a knock against the Gibraltar. This is still very compact, but you do have to take that into consideration if you are going on airlines that really try and push you on the excess baggage fees. I've used these on multiple airlines and I haven't been called to fit it in a metal cage. So again, it's really a case-by-case basis what your experience and airlines you use. Aluminium frame that just gives it the toughness, and the hinge elements when you open and close. A few more rivets on the Gibraltar to keep it consistent with that industrial look. It's a lot more flush and minimal on the Captain. So again, as an aesthetic thing, it's really down to your preference. And when it comes to the back, it's even more minimal. Sometimes you'll find some foot paddings on Level 8's more affordable luggage, but on the Gibraltar and the Captain, it's very clean, no foot paddings there. The only difference on the Gibraltar, you can see the little cutouts for, is traditional telescopic handles, which again, very sturdy, very solid. It is full metal, not the plastic kind, and it gives you the kind of toughness you'd want, so you know this is going to hold up very well. And again, I've tested it for numerous months on my travels, and the handles have been super sturdy for me on the Gibraltar. So where does that differ with the Captain? Now on the back, you can see the handles, even on the top here, where it docks, really flush. You've got that flat top we'll talk about in a moment, but on the sides, that's where you can see the trolley handles slot. It's flushed into the top part to keep it flat, and to actually access it, you have to give it a little bit of a push. It's got an ejection tool, and then it locks. For one, it's a lot wider for you to grab onto rather than towards the center. Two, it's actually locked in higher than what you would find on a traditional handle, so it does give you a lot more clearance and give. You cannot grab it if you have it docked in place, so it actually adds another step for you to access that grab handle, push it in, lock, and then you can hold. For that kind of design, I would say it's a worthwhile trade-off to have, but again, it's really down to your usage. Both of these do feature the same 360 silent wheels on Level 8 Luggage, whether you're going for the most affordable to the most premium that you see on the Gibraltar and the Captain. They are actually the same, but you've got the matching grey on the Gibraltar, whereas there's a contrasting standard black on the Captain. I've absolutely loved the wheels on Level 8 Luggage. They're just super quiet. It's not harsh on the handles. You don't get that vibration that travels up. This is where you're gonna get the 4 foot paddings, 2 on the top, 2 on the lower conveyor belt when you're checking in at the counter. Or if you just want to rest it on its side, it's not scratching on the actual body of the aluminium. With these handles, you would have seen this one is a traditional, and this one is the new wide handles. Now there's only 2 luggage that have this wide handle. It's the Voyager and the Captain. I have to say, even compared to the Voyager with the wide handle, these ones just feel a lot more sturdy and tighter. Kind of the tolerance and tightness you get in the traditional trolleys on the Voyager is a little bit rattly and definitely more plastic feeling, whereas both these have a nice soft touch finish. This is like the best wide trolley experience you're going to find in a Level 8. You have to use quite a bit of wrist, whereas on this you've just got a little bit more control since it's the full width, and even using 2 hands is much quicker, whereas 2 on here, it's a lot more cramped. Even resting my arm when I have it down, when I'm waiting in the queue, my full arm just lays on it, and just those sort of small differences when you are traveling. It's helped by being an aluminium, so it doesn't dip or flex compared to a hard shell polycarbonate. So if you want to place some things on top or rest your feet on it, then it's going to hold up pretty well just in front of the grab handle to place things. Whereas on the Captain, it really takes it up several notches. That flush design with the wide handle really does give you the full width of the top, and it truly is flat. So I've also put my camera rig on here, some food, use this as a mobile trolley when I just want some table to put things on and there's none available around me. This has actually been super useful. And on top of that, when you eject the wide trolley and slot it for a grab handle, the grooves on this hardened plastic that layers on top actually gives you different angle points. So if you want to rest your phone or your tablet, watch something, stay hands-free, it does extend its usefulness outside of just when you are traveling. Even at home, I have used this as kind of like a mobile cart, and I put a lot of my camera gear inside this because it's instantly zipless like the Gibraltar. But I also like using this as a shorter shelf next to my sofa, next to my computer desk, and I rest some things on top of it. A little cool pro tip for you there. Things get really interesting when we dive into the internal. So with the Captain and its centralized system, if I press this in, those clamps automatically unlock. And this is the first. And on the Gibraltar, with those 2 individual clamps, you got to make sure the codes are all unlocked and you have to press on each one. But when you do, it's a little bit bulkier on those jaw clamps. And again, these are a hardened plastic, but the premise is the same. It's instant It's zipless, not as fast as the Captain being centralized, but it's still much quicker than a traditional zipper. And on the inside, you can see it shares a nice spacious cavity, being 50-50 split that you can see here. So the Captain does everything very streamlined, very compact, very minimal. The Gibraltar, a lot more industrial, more riveted, and a very bold design. There's actually no panels or dividers. That's actually because they are removable, and it's the only one in Level 8's range that you can do that. It does give us an idea on just how open and spacious the Gibraltar is. Also packs slightly more than the Captain. Level 8 rated 1 litre more, negligible amounts, but when you're packing in both of them, they pretty much feel the same. And on the Captain, we've got one full zipper on the left side, and we've got two clipped parts, which kind of opens this divider here. It's not fully removable like the Gibraltar. I do like a fully zipper because you can put a bunch of stuff in. When you open, it's not going to all come out. The finish is already great in the Gibraltar, but on the Captain, you've got little details like a thicker mesh, a raised lip around the zippers to make it super easy to get into. And the liner as well just feels a bit more thicker, some stretch. So it does have some capacity to flex if you're really packing a lot. And clipping that, you also get the included laptop sleeve. This is for a very minimal or very thin type of laptop. MacBook Pro, probably 14, potentially 16 inch. If you've got something of that nature that's very slimline, then this is going to complement very well. And it's included in the Captain. Something you also get included in the Gibraltar is the 6-pack of packing cubes that fit perfectly in the 20-inch. You've got one packing cube that fills the entire section, and then you've got half and two smaller bits that will fit another. It's got all the essentials and the packing cubes to just travel straight away, but you don't get any packing cubes in the Captain, even though it's their most expensive premium flagship. As you would expect in the Captain, everything feels a little bit nicer, but that's not to detract from how nice generally the quality from Level 8 internals are. I don't have the dividers here to show you, but essentially they just snap into these buttons, and it's just a hard, firm piece. It doesn't have the fully zipped compartments, which for me, I think makes it a lot more useful when you are traveling. I've got my sub organizers, and some of them are quite a bit taller than the height of the dividers. So being able to remove that and have it fully enclosed in this, like a treasure chest or, you know, a camera luggage, I think it also gives you a bit more flexible options than what I find in the Captain and the fully zipped travel luggage. It's a toss-up because you do get the flat top surface that has actually been useful around the house. So yeah, whichever one you go for, they're pretty cool in their own sense, just for slightly different reasons. Anecdotally, the Captain weighs slightly heavier. I think it actually touches more than the 4.9 kilograms, even though it's a little bit more compact, whereas the Gibraltar's, I think, 4.5 kilograms. So it does weigh slightly less. On the plus side, you get a bit more headroom to pack more inside the Gibraltar, and also that lightweight means you're not going to hit the allowance as quick as you would on the Captain. The additional weight of the Captain is also because it's using more aluminium parts, and that's super important because you do get aluminium blocks for these TSA clamps rather than the hardened plastic on the Gibraltar. So of course these are going to sit on the slightly heavier side being aluminium, but honestly, when I've seen some polycarbonate hard shell cases, it's not actually that far off. So I think aluminium is a great trade-off, going a bit more heavier because you can feel it, you can see it, and it just adds to the durability. On the Gibraltar, around the aluminium corner guards, there are some spots I can see, some marks, some scratches where I've thrown this into the cabin hold. Wrap the Captain or the Gibraltar in that dust cover before you place it up in the cabin hold, and that's just going to prevent all the scratches and marks over time. It's also not that visible to the naked eye from afar, so even towards me I have to kind of really look where I've got some marks. Because this has a nice brushed smooth finish, again it also hides pretty well considering this is a silver, but yeah, I would say as a carry-on, aluminium does make a lot of sense. If it's your first time dabbling into aluminium carry-on, I would recommend LEVEL8 Gibraltar. It's just far more affordable than the Captain, and you're going to enjoy probably 80% of the qualities. If you do want to level it up and have something a bit more unique, fresh, but also enhance your travel experience, especially if you're going carry-on travel quite frequently, the Captain is an awesome flagship. Which one would you pick? Is it the Captain? Is it the Gibraltar? Let me know it down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. But until then, keep being awesome. Peace.